Hey, it's Ray and welcome back to my talk show. On this segment of Pillow Talk, I have my very good friend, Kassidy Jones, as my special guest. Say hi.
How's it going?
For today's episode of Pillow Talk, the topic is, what does life look like when you are in the in-between? So all of us have goals that we want to reach in life, and a lot of times we can be working for it for sometimes months, even years, but still feel like we're not there yet. So how do you live your life in the in-between of trying to get to where you want to go? So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, we were actually just talking about this like 2 nights ago. We were in your backyard, like with some shaved ice and in our pajamas.
Yes.
And we just had like a really like down-to-earth conversation about like the frustrations we both, I felt like we shared, and feeling like we were stuck in the in-between.
It was one of those conversations where it was like, ugh, I feel stuck. And then it was like, oh, me too. This is not a video of, here's the answers and we've gone through it and we know what to do, because really we both feel totally in the in-between and not being able to get where we're going quite yet. The first thing that we think is helpful to know when you feel like you're not where you want to be quite yet is thinking about what you have in front of you now. A lot of times when we aren't where we want to go, we start to focus on what we don't have instead of what we do have. And I think that that is honestly a barrier because you have the wrong mindset and therefore you're not moving forward. Let's say that your goal is to run a 5K and you're like, well, I'm so out of shape. I get it. That's me. Like, same.
Same.
Yeah. But just thinking, okay, I have the ability to go out and walk a half mile. You're still starting somewhere. And I think that that's where the lesson comes in, that I have to remind myself every single day, because I'm very achievement oriented and I'm very performance driven. And so I have to check myself and be like, okay, Rachel, you're being crazy. You haven't reached this huge goal yet, but you're taking the steps to get there. And I think that that is the important thing, is realizing that no matter where you are in life, if you're in that in-between stage of not being where you want to be yet, just realizing that you're doing all you can in that moment, and then letting yourself like be okay with that, giving yourself grace that you're not there yet, but that you're making those steps and making the most of what you have now. I think that that's like one of the best things you can do. You have to be really kind to yourself.
I'm gonna be completely honest with all of you. The minute I started doing that, which was like a week ago, things have improved so much for me in like the direction I was going. Like as soon as I changed that mindset and I was like, this is how I need to do things. I need to be okay with the fact that I'm not where I want to be yet. As soon as I made that like promise to myself and I made myself think this way, it immediately just changed everything. The second thing we want people to know is that whenever you are in this stuck in between stage, it's really important that you have a reason to achieve your goal. There's like a purpose behind every single thing that you're doing, and if there's not, you're gonna feel very unmotivated, you're gonna feel very uninspired, and you're gonna feel like you have no sense of direction. And I was at that stage for a long time, and I'm sure that there's a ton of other people out there who have been in that similar stage. So you really have to find your reason of why you're doing anything. If you don't know what that is gonna be and you feel like you don't have that reason, that's when you know it's time to like sit down, to take a break, to rest, and to really like figure out what you want and then restart again. And that's completely okay. I cannot even tell you the amount of times where I've stopped, rested, and came back with a completely new idea, and everyone's always like, Kassidy, you're coming out with all this new content all the time, you're coming with new ideas, your Instagram's completely changing, and it's like, that's because I'm changing. That's because it's like, this whole thing right now is an experimental stage, and you just have to completely embrace that. If you lose people for it, like, who cares? It doesn't matter if you lose people for it, because you're really only gonna build your own community and the people that you want around you in order to help you succeed more.
Yeah, I'd say kind of our number two and 3 points really go together, like be purposeful with your purpose. Let's say that your goal is to be a kinder person, then maybe you need to get rid of some friendships who are constantly gossiping about others or being rude to others. Just really thinking through what it is you want in life.
I know another big thing that's really important is making connections whenever you're trying to be purposeful. That's
our last point.
I know. That's also our last point. Not only do you never know who is going to be who and who's going to talk about you, that you always want to make good connections, but also it can lead you into some open doors and some new
Yeah,
opportunities,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is like a really important thing.
But the other thing is that caring about those connections as an individual, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
not just being like, what can I get from you?
There's always going to be that underlying reason, and like making that connection, it's usually going to be because you want something, but it's usually to build. It sounds bad.
It sounds so bad. I want
does.
this. Can you do this things
Can
by?
you do this for me? Thanks. But really, it's about like building each other up, honestly. Is how we think about it. It's like, it's good to have those connections, but do it for the reason of like, not what can I take from this person, but what can I give them.
Okay, you guys, so that is 4 tips on how you can be more content in the in-between of life when you're trying to reach your goals, no matter what your goals may be. We hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and then head on over to Kassidy's Instagram, where she's gonna have another awesome version of this video on Instagram TV. So we will see you guys later. This has been the latest edition of Pillow Talk. Catch you later!